Ready? Okay.
That's your sewer pipe from the house. Comes in there. So if you ever get a blockage, that's the first place you look.
Okay.
In there. So then from here around to this divider, there is what we call the primary part of the tank, where I can't put it any other way, where all the shit goes. So then you've got your secondary part, which is from here around to here. That section is where all the grey water goes and a sediment and settle to the bottom. And then when the water level, when you use enough water, the water level will run through at different heights and it'll run into this aeration chamber. Once it aerates,
which is the centre one.
Which is the centre chamber.
Yeah.
That blower in there is aerating this tank for 40 minutes. Now, what it does do is in this chamber, there's these two pipes here. These two pipes here with the taps.
Yeah.
Now, it's what they call a sludge return. So it'll take sludge out of the bottom of this tank and it puts it back into the primary part and it comes out that pipe there.
Oh, yeah.
But it can't come out there because there's not enough water in there at the moment.
Yeah.
While I'm not here, it's just like on a pulse mode. When I come and service, I can turn it on like fully. Yeah. And it'll sludge return while I'm servicing. So generally, then I pull this filter out, which he didn't clean.
Oh,
that's all right. That's totally. So that's a filter. And that filter, I don't want to drop it in. That filter, if it's got good bacteria on here, then the better the water will filtrate.
Right.
If it's got dead bacteria on there...
How do you tell whether they're alive or dead?
Well, that's shit, black, yucky bacteria.
Yeah, yeah.
I can tell. You need to have... there's not even really any on here that's any good. It's got to be sort of more like this.
Yeah.
But not that colour. It's got to be a... So when the water runs through, if it's got dead bacteria, then the water pressure, it won't filtrate. It'll just push all this crap black stuff into where the pump is.
Yes.
And then out through the filter. The filter then picks it up.
Yeah.
That black thing there. And then it goes out to the field. So how do you get good bacteria?
Yep.
Any products, dishwasher, washing machine, stuff with volume, as long as they've got no bleach in them.
Right.
No bleaching agents.
Right.
If you've got bleach in your tank, it kills the bacteria.
Yeah, right, okay.
You want to multiply the bacteria.
Yeah, yeah.
So you just got to stay away from bleach. Nappy sand and all the soakers.
Yeah.
If you want to soak clothes, do it by all means. Do it in a bucket, tip the water outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't do it in the laundry trough.
Yeah.
Because it'll... So what I normally...
So bleach is really the only major thing?
Bleach, yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't like, you know, if you went and poured a whole heap of off milk down the thing, they don't like that. So normally I just hose this all off, just watch I don't splash you. Normally try to wash it off most of it back into the tank.
Yep.
But sometimes here they used to have all this sandbark over it. It used to drive me nuts.
Yeah. And with say clothes washing, is there anything that you've got to look out for not to use?
Look, Earth Choice is probably one product you can use.
Yeah. Doesn't
have a lot of nasty stuff. Some of the other brands are okay. You've just got to, when you're allowed to go to the shop, pick up, you know, the product and just make sure it hasn't got bleach in it.
Yeah, right, okay.
If it's got bleach, it's just, now that this tank's been pumped out,
Yeah.
if you're using the wrong products, because it's got no shit in there
Yeah.
to hide it,
Yeah.
you'll know because it'll smell.
Oh, okay.
The tank will smell. So if the tank starts smelling, you've got to go, well, maybe we better look at what we're using.
Yeah, yeah.
That's usually the dead sort of giveaway with these. They don't like, they won't work. You shouldn't get a smell from them. So we put him back in there. He goes in his spot. Oops. So the water runs through the aeration chamber, through this pipe and down, and then underneath the filter and up, and then through the filter and into the last chamber.
Last chamber, which is over there.
Which is here, which I'm going to put this lid back on because I don't want you falling in it or me. I'll put this lid back on. So that sludge return, once it gets water back in here, it'll just start doing its thing.
Yeah.
It'll just start working by itself.
Yeah.
Because I've already said it, except from last time. So you got your aeration, you got all nice fine bubbles.
Yeah.
So that means it's working properly. You've got good aeration. So yeah. Where's my thingy gone? Oh, behind me.
Pretty deep.
Oh yeah. He must have just filled this up. Thought he might have thought. Not filled it up. No, it's sort of clean water. Okay. No worries. Okay, I won't open it yet. So then it pumps, the water will pump out of there.
Yep.
And the pipe goes around here, and then he's got this filter in here, which is another bloody, does my head in, with all the bloody bark and stuff. So what that pipe's for,
Yeah.
is he used to have that on there, and he'd open that up sometimes,
Yeah.
and then it'd pump the water out through that, wherever he's got it going.
Probably down to the creek.
Probably. I don't know, but he used to have it like that.
Mm.
So it used to spray water in there. So then you've got, that's your water quality coming out.
Okay.
Fairly clean. And this is your irrigation filter. So you've got to imagine that that's a fairly fine filter. Okay?
Yeah.
And if all your house water is going through that and it's not very good quality, it's going to block fairly regularly. So if it's working properly, it should stay clean like that.
That's a good indicator of the system.
Because that's like a fairly fine mesh.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a good indication that it was working.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So maybe I'd say you guys just maybe check your products and then see how you go from there on in.
Yeah.
So normally I just give that a hose off. I'll do it up here. So normally what I do when I clean them, there's an open end and a cap in that end. Normally the open end goes in the cap like that, and then you just screw it back on. But what you got to try to watch is all this crap doesn't get in there while you've got it out, because you only need one bit of this tan bark in there. The lines are only it'll block the lines, and that's
stupid having such.
Yep, that's what I used to get frustrated with. Don't have to do it up that tight, that's too tight. So all this is what they call a bypass tap.
Yeah.
So just say that filter gets blocked.
Yeah.
If you want to get the water, what will happen is if this starts alarming off, high water level number 3 will come up.
Yeah.
Then the first thing you do is come out and open this tap. Now that he's got that there, you're probably better off to put it on that.
Yeah.
And then it'll just pump the water level down.
Yeah.
Once the water level's pumped down, the alarm and that'll all go away, and then you can come out, probably I'd say turn the unit off, unscrew the filter, hose it off, put it back in, turn it back on, got to make sure you turn it back on, and then turn the tap off and away you go. But because it's gone into high water, what can happen is it washes all the crap off the side of the walls.
Oh, okay.
Not used to going that high.
Yeah.
And I'd probably check it in a day or two.
Yeah. Especially
if they go high water and some people ring me and, oh, it's been here like that for like 2 days. Oh my God. So then last but not least, obviously that's your pump well. Your pump. Now the water, I'll just grab this, comes. So the water will run through that filter that's got to have the good bacteria.
Yeah.
Through here, into here. Now what we've got here is a chlorine canister. What that does is, obviously you can't put chlorine in the tank anywhere because it'll kill bacteria. But in the last chamber, it's done its treatment, it's done all its things. So what it's doing is, as you can see, the water will run through there and there's little holes in the bottom. Just dissolve a little bit of the tablet and it kills any viruses or pathogens that aren't treated. If you come in contact with it, you won't get sick. But it also helps to keep those filters clean. Keeps that chamber clean, and it helps the residual in the lines, helps to keep the lines clean.
Keep the line clean.
Okay, so that's pretty much. So what I generally do is chuck a little bit in there and then just top them up with some more tablets. How many of you are you here full time?
Yeah, we are. Only 2 of us.
I generally put 4 or 5 in.
But there will be, there's 5 of us all together coming and going, but 2 permanent.
Yep, that's right. 5's enough tablets for what you guys are doing. And then I normally just check them every service and top them up.
Okay.
So then...
How often do you service it?
Every 3 months.
Okay.
That's what they recommend, the manufacturer. So this pump, well, the water level comes up. You can see there's a bit of a line. So when the water that you use and it runs through here will come up, the water level will come up. This yellow and black float will come up with it. And then it'll get to there and it will turn on, and then it'll just pump the water level down, and so it's pumping it out to the irrigation field.
Oh, right, out there.
Out there now.
Yeah, okay.
So it's pumping down.
So what height does that water stay at optimally?
No, it doesn't get any higher than that watermark.
Okay, the watermark,
Okay. Now this water spraying around here,
Yeah.
I drilled that hole in that. So what it's doing is it's helping to, one, keep the mozzies out of the tank, because if the mozzies get in this part of the tank and die off, then that filter gets, you know, the pump picks them up and blocks the filter.
Yeah.
Also, if that filter does get blocked, it helps to circulate, the pump can keep circulating without burning it out.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
it might burn it out, but it gives it a half a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, if you think the pump's not working and the water level's high, generally if there's no water coming out that hole, that indicates that it's not.
So
going.
just you can.
So that's just turned off.
Yeah.
Now, if the water level gets too high in here, this float will come up.
Oh, okay.
Right, and it'll, as long as I don't drop it, that thing. Oh, come on. Nope. Bit of a juggling act because it's let it go. Right. Okay. We'll do it this way then. Come back this way. So it'll come up, the water level will come up, and then that'll turn on, and you get number 3.
Oh, okay. So that's a high water mark.
That's high water level. So it's saying I can't get the water out quick enough.
Yeah, yeah.
So then what'll happen when the water goes down, it'll just reset.
Turn off, yeah.
Okay, so if you open that valve, it'll pump the water out, instead of going through trying to pump it through the block filter, it'll just pump it straight out.
Yes.
And it'll get the level down quicker.
Yeah. So that's the emergency stuff. Yeah.
Alright. So that's pretty well what we do.
Oh, okay.
And then I normally check the inlet over there and make sure it's not blocked.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not, and we're going to put the hose back in there in a second. But
so
what does my, this is what, going back to the, I know I keep going back to this tan back, but it really does me over, is you're trying to keep this really, really clean.
Yeah.
Really clean water you want in here, so that it doesn't block that filter.
Yes, yes.
You know, and the more bits of stuff that drop in here, like leaves and stuff, then the more chance of, you know, you've got foreign matter in there. You just want water.
Yeah, yeah.
Anywho,
that
is that's your guided,
that's the system.
That's your guided tour of your
septic.
Of your treatment plant, So virtually what this is, not a septic, it's a treatment plant. Virtually what you've got at Carrum Downs or any of the sewer plants, this is just a smaller scale
mini version
on your property. And you've got to maintain the outflow within your boundaries. And you can't go out of the you know, into stormwater or blah blah blah. The Shire. So normally the other thing I didn't tell you, which there's no point doing, in there the Shire asked me to do a pH reading.
Oh, okay.
So take a pH reading out of the last chamber. Do you want me to hose this off or just leave it?
I'll leave it, I'll clean it up.
So I'll just drop this hose back in here. So if you just leave that run for a couple of hours. And then turn it off. Predominantly what I want, I'll show you, it's up to you, you can, if you want to lift this and see for yourself. The reason I want water back in is there's a...
So where's that water sound now? Is that
around there, coming in?
Oh, coming in
so
from there.
It's going to fill this chamber and then run into this chamber. But down here, there's a hole.
Oh, okay.
See that hole?
Yeah, so it equalises.
So what I want the water in here to be above the hole. That side and this side. Okay. So it'll run into here and it'll fill up. Once the water level gets above the hole.
I can turn the water off.
You can turn it off. Because because what happens is if you don't and you just fill it naturally. When you get your toilet paper and your crap, when it gets to the hole, it runs through into this side. Well, you don't want it.
No, you don't.
So if you get the water level above, it floats to the top and it sits up. So, and you don't want the tank popping out of the ground.
No.
And we're going to get a bit of rain on it. That's about it, mate.
Yeah, okay, that's good.